Hey everybody, how's it going? So now that Spider-Man Far From Home has been released, the writers of the film are talking quite a lot about behind the scenes stuff with the movie, early thought ideas, things of that nature, maybe some more context to certain scenes as well. So the writers Eric Somers and Chris McKenna, an interesting thing they talk about is about basically how much did they actually know from Endgame before they started writing the sequel. And they say pretty much we really only knew that there was a 5-year gap and those who died. So obviously, Tony being gone, things like that. But we didn't know things like Valkyrie riding a Pegasus, nothing like that, which obviously didn't have a reference in Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, they also talk about whether Tony Stark is the quote-unquote new Uncle Ben, or basically the Uncle Ben for Peter in the MCU. And they say that, Uncle Ben of course does exist. We had a little hint for him in Homecoming. And Spider-Man in this universe has already dealt with Uncle Ben's death, things like that. But you're right, in a lot of ways the gravitas really comes from Peter's relationship with Tony. And he adds to that, it's assumed that there probably was already an Uncle Ben with the pain of that loss lingering there. But this gave everyone a chance, not having to go over it over and over again, a whole new relationship between Peter and his mentor Tony, and to deal with the loss of that, which is very powerful and a very emotional event in his life. To me, that doesn't really answer the question about whether Tony is the new Uncle Ben, besides saying basically yes, which is kind of unfortunate because I think a lot of people were hoping that even though MCU Spider-Man has a lot of involvement with Iron Man, he would still be separate with regards to, the things that motivate him. Tony shouldn't be a motivating factor. He should just be a complementary kind of agent to Spider-Man's journey as he gets older and, things like that. Now, when talking about Spider-Man's kind of surprise ending, they say we were challenged by producers to come up with something that Peter sacrifices by the end of this movie. And when we hit upon that as a group, it became a very scary idea, but we said, you know what? Otherwise, it's not really a Spider-Man movie anymore, which I disagree with, but they say it's such a bold maneuver that it becomes inevitable, particularly with a tricky character like Mysterio, who is like a dark father-like figure. And then they say from the grave, he's trying to give Peter his I'm Iron Man moment is thrust upon him, but is this a lesson or a punishment? So comment below, share your thoughts down below. What do you guys think? And we'll see you guys later.